Puerto Rican. A
Yeah,
lot of people won't believe that. But
yeah,
yeah, both my parents are Hispanic. They're from Puerto Rico.
right.
So I'm actually not mixed.
Well, Puerto Rico, oh, I call you Brian, whatever. I
But
know,
it's all good. I
but you get
mean,
what I'm saying. But
we
if you say something to me in Puerto Rican, I don't understand that.
right.
I can't understand that. So it's the
Hmm.
language that's being spoken to our young black men, in particular,
Hmm.
concerning their responsibility as being men. Somewhere along the line, correction has to take place, even in a child's life.
Yes.
We raised our young boys, and one thing that I always done raising my young sons, I'm the best ear hustler around. I'm
Oh yeah.
listening. They can be on the phone. I'm listening. I might act like I'm not, but I'm listening because anything inappropriate, it needs to be addressed then, immediately.
Hmm.
And for men who are not in the household, they miss that opportunity
Hmm.
because they have to get called. The mama got a call, so and so is doing this and doing that, or maybe the mother didn't observe the pattern that was taking place. To where this is where the sound understanding of responsible masculinity has to be interjected, and
Right.
you have to be available to do that. So availability. Let's talk about availability. For those young men and women that came from households that they just didn't have that masculine person there that was responsible, male figure, uh, to intervene when they really needed it.
Hmm.
They well sometimes, oh, little Johnny did this and that. I'm gonna call your daddy and let your daddy talk to you about it. But daddy wasn't there at the time to correct it, and little Johnny might not have the greatest respect for daddy because he wasn't there.
Exactly.
You see what I'm saying? See, sometimes we don't understand how our children feel about us being in their life or out of their life until they turn into adults and they're able to express themselves. That yeah, some people will say, yeah, my daddy was there, but he never really talked to me. So he was there, but he just
It
well,
just was there.
oh, my daddy was there, but my mama ran everything. Okay, so you learn that the feminine side is the more responsible side in your mind. And a lot of men grew up that they think the woman is more responsible than the man. And it's not to pit the woman against the man, but we got to talk about the real concept here.
Oh
So
yeah.
there is a disregard for male authority.
Yes.
So our children got to be out in the streets. And when they run into male authority, they can lose their life because they don't know how to respect male authority. And this is something we got to deal with. Do you think, let me ask that, let's talk about this authority, male authority. Do you think there's a problem in our community with male authority? And is that the reason? Does it come from the household or does it come from the brokenness in the fabric of American society? What do you think about that?
Well, the household and broken society to me is one and the same, only because we don't know how they grew up or what was the situation. We don't know why they didn't have the male figure in their lives, you know. And it could be a trend where the great grandmother grew up that way, and instead of breaking the chain, she kept on going with it. Same thing with the great grandfather.
Mm-hmm.
Might have been a deadbeat or been something. And instead of breaking the chain and said, no, I want you to be better, they had follow suit,
Right,
So now you got who's in jeopardy? It ain't you anymore because you're grown. It's the
right,
child, the
right.
child, you know. So me, and I'm a victim, I don't want to say of my success, but the fact is that I took my father, my grandfather, he was a pistol. Good man. He wasn't in jail and drugs and all that, but he had you couldn't get nothing serious out of him. He
Mm-hmm.
was too much of a jokester, and he's always doing something, but not really in it, you
Right,
know.
right,
And my father, he took that to the fact that you had to work to take care of home. So
right,
he constantly worked,
right.
constantly worked. Had his little dealings and stuff like that, but he constantly worked. I took it a step further, where I constantly work. Here I am retired from the military, and then I turn around and go contracting for 10 more years.
Mm-hmm.
You know, telling my story and hearing it, you would think I was never around for my kids.
Right.
But every chance I had, whether it be a week, 2 days, whatever, I grabbed my kids, I grabbed my wife, we went somewhere. We went somewhere. We reconnected. We built it back up.
Right.
Everything I needed to try to teach my kids, I try to cram it in there, and then here I am gone again,
Right.
So should I have been home more? Yeah, I probably needed to leave that alone a little bit earlier,
Mm-hmm.
And now my kids, very respectable,
Right.
no issues out of them, Now they both joined the military themselves and
Mm-hmm.
doing very good. One is airborne down at Fort Bragg, and the other one is air assault down at Fort Campbell.
Right. Right.
So I'm proud of them.
Right.
But their success comes from my
Mm-hmm.
imperfection, to the fact that now they workaholics.
Right. Right. Right.
And now I'm fighting to dial them back.
Right. Right. A little
You
bit.
see what I'm saying? So yeah, I mean, we are talking, and as real men, I'm gonna tell you my faults. I
So,
instilled in them so much to take care of home, to stand up, to do what's right,
mm-hmm.
so your kids would never need for anything. They took it a step further. Now they're workaholics.
Right.
And
Right.
I'm trying to get them, hey, enjoy the fruits of your labor earlier.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yeah.
know,
Same.
I've
Yeah.
only started enjoying the fruits of my labor about a year and a half to 2 years ago.
Right. Right.
So what does that tell you? And I've been working. I joined the military right after I graduated high school.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, I went across the stage, out the back door, on the bus, and I was gone.
Right.
I
Right.
ain't never looked back.
Right.
So you're talking well over 30 years, man.
Right.
I just been hustling, 12-hour days, weekends, 24/7, just hustling, hustling, hustling.
Right. Right. Yeah.
But every chance I got with the kids. Great kids, I just have to help dial them back a little bit to show that you're good.
Right.
You're good. You don't have to work as hard.
Right.
Let's be a little bit smarter.
Mm-hmm.
Let's not work harder. Let's work smarter.
Right. Let me ask you this though. Okay. And that's good that you brought that up, because every man, his presence to his family, it may not be one that can be there continually, because your
Mm-hmm.
job might take you away from it. Your duty to the country,
Yeah.
might take you away from it.
We know that.
So your duty could, being deployed, man, like being deployed for years. Like, sometimes you get, I had never seen a deployment that was less than 6 months for me. Never less.
Oh,
Never.
yeah.
So
Even field problems with 30 days or more.
yeah. So when you come back, you training, because really you're killers. I mean, if you in combat ammo, that's what you're getting trained. You're always training on weaponry. You're making sure you're physically conditioned all the time, in shape, and you're always qualifying with your weapons. You're
Yes.
always training maneuvers to kill the enemy. That's all you're trained to do.
That's all you do.
Nothing else. So that concept of strategic military aggression almost is kind of embedded in you,
Mm-hmm.
but from a positive way. And here's the thing, when you understand it from a positive perspective, then I think then communicating that to younger men that who think that, well, man, you don't understand. I come from the hood. I come from the hood too, though, But
Mm-hmm.
the hood, that's another misconception. Let's get rid of that term too. As though you coming from a combat zone. No, it's not a combat zone. It's a place where you guys have been misled, and you're jeopardizing the lives of your brothers and sisters by trying to express masculinity that you just don't know how. So you
Mm-hmm.
turn your own city into a war zone. You did that. Not because an enemy did it, you did it.
You did it.
Not because you were placed there and you had to go there to defend sovereignty. You did that.
Mm-hmm.
So don't cry. You go to jail. Don't cry. In other words, what we're asking for young men to understand, we understand your pain, but we don't understand your response. I've been in combat, been in the hood, everything else. But the response that I have adopted and we have adopted is to still stand like men. I don't want to do anything to deteriorate my society. Nothing. Because
Mm-hmm.
guess what? I got a grandbaby. I got sons. I got I got family that have to live in this society.
Yep.
As a person who fought for it, I also have a right to give my opinion about it. And
Yeah.
I shouldn't have to be guarded. I shouldn't have to worry about what I'm saying because I'm not saying anything malicious or I'm not saying anything that's derogatory. I'm just speaking the truth. There's a
The
lot of truth
truth.
to talk about on that combat, being in combat on that front line that a lot of people wouldn't believe, but it's true.
Hey, you know what? It's just like the movie. They can't handle the truth.
They have real
They
talk.
want to they want to believe a lie because
Right,
it soothes them better.
right.
Come on, man. Let's face the truth. Let's be men. Stand up, hear about it, because either you're going to fix it or you say, okay, I heard it. I'm going to move on.
Right. And guess what? Tank Commander will still be here saying the same thing. Be a man.
That's it.
Be a man. Be a man. Be responsible. Now let's talk about because we knew that the military at times took us away from our families, and all the jobs can take us away from the family, just like the home and society that can be broken, where the mother and father aren't married and living in the same home, but they're
Mm-hmm.
co-parenting, right?
Okay.
Success of co-parenting, because in a sense, if you've been in the military deployed and you had family at the time, you had to almost co-parent.
You was co-parent.
Co-parenting. But what made it effective was that you and the woman you were with, she supported the idea of what you were doing.
Yes.
She supported the idea of,
Say that. Oh my goodness.
and that's important. See, this is where the importance of the woman comes in. In a
Mm-hmm.
household, you have to, if you're not able to respect or support the idea of what the father is doing or has done, or maybe you guys just couldn't get along. But
Mm-hmm.
if you don't support the idea of this being a good man and me communicating that to my son or my daughter, our son and daughter, although we're not together, how important that is that, or is it because mostly I run into this the woman every now and then, not every now and then, more often than not, that's bitter
Mm-hmm.
because she's not with the baby father, and
Okay.
she doesn't feel she was good enough to be loved by him. That she turns into everything comes out about him turns angry. Everything said about him is kind of coming from a emotional position. And if that young man is listening to that all the time, without his own personal experience, he'll begin to believe it.
Exactly.
About the co-parent and supporting the concept of what the man is doing in order to keep the family together and on the right in the right place. What do you think about that?
It's it's hard because again you have two people that are two different people, so you're don't think the same.
Mm-hmm.
But some women need to understand the fact that if you want to succeed in life and you have a man that's willing to take care of you,
Mm-hmm.
you should support him, because you'll realize that man, every minute he has, he's coming home to you and the family,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because that's where he wants to be, because
Right.
he knows he's got his support system there to help him deal with the stuff that he goes through when he gets deployed, when he goes to combat, when he does field problems, when he has to deal with false leaders, knuckleheads,
Right. Right.
and
Right.
stuff like that.
Right.
So when he comes home, he don't want to hear, why do you always got to be the one to go? Why this? Why that?
Right. Right.
Why are
Right.
you asking me all that? Can I come home and enjoy my family?
Mm-hmm.
Why we got to argue about work when I'm at home? We can talk about it if you're going to support me and help me try to figure out what can I do better, or what? I mean, why we got to go through that? And that's the problem with some women. They're not understanding, accepting the fact that they're going to be single parents. They're married, but they're going to be single parents.
Right.
You know, that's the bottom line.
Right.
And when the husband comes home, he needs to understand that you might need your time, but you need your family to get past what you just went through.
Right.
You know, I don't know. I know, let me rephrase that. I know there's a lot of military that relates to this, and there's a lot of military that don't realize it. Because my boys had to tell me about this.